with more Horizon Zero Dumb, the series where a master of mechanical engineering, literal master's degree, that would be Condor,
Me?
a man with 11 years of on and off martial arts experience, and someone who doesn't know a goddamn thing about this game, analyze the robots, weapons, and general mechanics and storytelling of this very, very flawed gem and/or... Yeah, we're going with exceedingly flawed gem of the game.
There are some very interesting and good components about it, but we're also here to analyze what things were either cut corners or simply oversights on the part of the game design team that were probably done to save time or energy.
Yeah.
So
And there's some that are just so glaringly obvious that, like, even I can tell that they're problems.
The game crashed like 8 times last time. That's just not acceptable from a game with a AAA game.
No,
that should not happen.
This game had a $45 million budget, and it turns out that I had a lot of problems getting it to run correctly on my fairly powerful gaming PC. So, as such, I did manage to tweak some of the things since last week, and hopefully it will remain a little more stable. So, without further ado, I'm going to continue where we left off last time. We had just
getting sound, so we can actually hear Rost's voice acting. That's awful.
Rost is Superman, also. Like, he's Superman.
Rost is, for those who are new to this game, and new to this stream in particular, we are also going to be giving some spoilers at times because Osprey and I have already played through this game, or at least seen it played through in its entirety, and we can make some commentary about things to come. So for those of you who are expecting a regular playthrough that's like new, this is not one of those. So, spoiler alert.
No, I'm the only one going into this blind, for the most part.
Are we allowed to say that on Twitch?
Oh, yeah, we can say it, we just can't tag it.
Oh, for fuck's sake. You know
it's
what?
Stupid.
No, I'm not going to get into Twitch's fake woke bullshit. There's plenty of bullshit to deal with later. We can make our own YouTube video on Twitch.
We just can't say the word that rhymes with shrimp. We can't say the word that rhymes with shrimp.
Hey, guess what?
The game crashed?
Did it crash?
The game crashed.
We haven't even started, it's already crashing. Oh my god.
Everybody. Okay, new part of the game. New addition to the drinking game. For those who are new to this, the drinking game thus far was take a shot every time this world introduces a taboo which has no material or rational basis. Second part, take a shot and also F in chat every time the fucking game crashes.
Yeah, every time the game crashes, you guys effing chat. Yeah, that's... Oh my god.
So, in my perusals through the menus in this game, I discovered that the PC Complete Edition does have what they call a New Game Plus mode, which I guess you unlock by having completed the full game at least once regularly. And what this does, according to its own manuals, is that it allows you to take weapons and stuff that you've crafted or gained throughout the game that are not quest items, and start from that point.
Yeah.
So that is kind of a neat thing that they've added. This was, as far as I remember, not in the PS4 edition. So that's worth something.
It is. Now, I think you just make it not crash.
Yeah. Honestly, the fact that this $45 million game, which was ported to the PC, is having so many issues on a machine that has more than enough power to run it is very concerning to me.
Yeah, I mean, this isn't like we're having, a frame rate dropout occasionally, or like...
No, the game just...
Also, this isn't a new low-budget game. This is like an older, high-budget game.
Yeah, the game's been out a while, too. But,
yeah.
I mean, even I discovered it came out for the PC in August, so they've had a good 6 months to figure out what the heck could be wrong with it.
Yeah. Like, this isn't like the HiveSwap crashing.
And it crashed again.
Oh, okay, again.
It has problems buffering the shaders that it has to do. And it gives me like a percentage, and that's why it takes such a long time to load. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get to the point where the game is playing, pause it, and then restart the stream. Because apparently the game has trouble doing this and streaming it at the same time for some very bizarre reason.
Okay.
It's almost like they didn't want us to stream this game and then make criticisms of it. You don't suppose?
I do suppose. I suppose it hard.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah. But we're doing it anyway.
Yeah. I guess we're masochistic that way.
Yep.
We are.
Let me see if the game crashes on me while I'm not streaming it. For those of you in the audience watching nothing at the moment, that's exactly what I'm doing. To see if this actually makes a difference. It shouldn't be an issue. Streaming doesn't take a lot of processing power from this.
Hey, Condor, while we're actually staring at nothing, if you could jump over to the, or if somebody could jump over to the wiki, there are more up-close pictures of the various weapons that I can actually talk about, like the spear, and why it is stupid.
Heron, would you mind doing that?
My hands are kind of full right now. My hands are a little bit full.
Uh-oh. Whoops.
Heron is having dinner at the moment.
Yeah, I need to eat because I had some incidents with my dinner that has delayed it significantly. I'm sorry if I'm eating on camera. I'm sorry. I apologize for that. I'll try to go as quickly as I can.
I will point out that I'm also eating on, well, I mean, I'm not on camera, but on stream, and this won't be the first time, and I'm guarantee it won't be the last.
Well, the game just crashed again without streaming it, so it's not that. The streaming, that is.
Well,
all right, let's do some brief weapon analysis. If you could actually like throw that up on your screen and get that window into the stream, because I want to talk about the spear.
yeah, well, if you could stream, I think you can stream it on the. Well, I think you can share the thing on Discord.
Yeah, I'm trying.
I can't click anything right now because my hands are really like full, but I have grease all over them. But yeah.
Let me see if I can figure out how to do this.
I got it.
Also, oh, okay. Let me rejoin. Then
I should be sharing the weapons page of the Horizon Wiki.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's just start off with this bow here.
Oh man.
Because
bow man.
Yeah, okay, Heron, you actually have probably more archery experience than I do, and you also have, well, actually, we both have ancestry that would make us attached to bow cultures.
We do.
Completely different sides, literally different sides of the earth.
Yeah.
I've mentioned on stream before, I have Mongol ancestry. Heron can talk about their ancestry if they want to, and not if they don't. Oh my fucking god.
Oh my god, okay. It's worse up close.
Well, actually, that's the bow on top of the spear, it looks like.
Wait, what?
We'll take a look at the spear later, but also, so the main problem this bow has, let's say, okay, the hunter bow, this is actually not a bad bow. This is fine. Like,
yeah.
I've seen, they didn't have the metal part, but depending on what the properties of this metal are, having this metal strap on a wooden, this is a perfectly good bow.
It is. This is a decent bow. It's like solid. It looks like an actual bow. Unlike some of the weapons in this game that do not look like what the actual weapon's supposed to be. Also, hello to the person that just jumped in. But yeah, like, it actually looks like what it's supposed to look like. It's
okay, I don't know what the frick fuck those weird parts that are added on do, aside from added weight. Rule of thumb with a bow, never add weight unless it does something really, really awesome.
So, this apparently is called the Karja hunting bow or Karja bow, which we'll get to later in the game.
Also, a reminder to the person who just jumped in, just to tell you, since he just jumped in, like people just jumped in, the game crashed and we're trying to get it running again, so in the meantime we're looking at weapons. Just like as a filler.
Okay. Let's find the next. What else can we find?
Yeah,
here?
let's look at the spear. The pointy stick. The pointy stick. The metal pointy stick.
Yes, we're gonna look at that because it's awful. If you just Google Horizon and spear, there is a page. It may not be on this wiki, but there is one somewhere. Weapons.
The pointy stick.
Okay, click that so you can get an up-close image. Oh, God.
It looks worse up close.
Which is to say, it looks like just a bunch of things strung together that make it vaguely
Yes, it is the pointy stick.
And none of them make the least bit of sense. Okay, let me start with talking about the shaft, right? The wooden part. It's shaped really badly. It's thicker in the middle for no reason. That makes it less ergonomic to lance it out. And also, you've also got that stupid charm thing on there for no reason. That charm thing should be on the end of it, because adding some weight to the end is not a bad idea. Now at the end, there's this weird curvature, which again, on a spear, is a bad thing, because it means if you're lancing it out one-handed, you're going to... Oh yes, that will get added on later, but that...
Also, why is the handle on, like, the wrong end of it? I mean, I could be wrong, but I don't think that's where you're supposed to have your handle on a spear. Oh, thank you for the follower, Twisted. Thank you for that follow. Thank you so much for that.
And Horizon.
Okay, so you've got...
What's up? What's up is that we're trying to get this game running, and it keeps crashing, so we're looking at weapons right now. That's what's up right now.
Okay, so...
From the game.
Coming to show some GGHC love. Hey, thank you. Yeah, GGHC Global Gaming. It's Global Gaming Center. It's like Global Gaming Holding Center. That's what it is. Like, I always forget what it's abbreviation for. But great server, like 10 out of 10. Everyone, it's great.
Okay, so let's actually take another look at that thing, because there's more to comment on with this.
Yes, let's take another look at the pointy stick.
Such as it is.
Okay, so the curvature at the end of the handle, again, means that if you try to lance it out, it's gonna, like, any warp or change in the shaft of a spear means that if you try to do a one-handed lance out, you're going to get lateral movement and it's going to not hit properly and it can actually disarm you. It's really bad. There's just no valid reason to do that. Now, on a gun stock, it would be valid, because on a gun stock, okay, on a bayoneted rifle isn't just a spear, it's also a rifle. So it's less good as a spear than a spear is, but it's better in melee than a rifle with no bayonet, and it's also a rifle, which a spear is not. Also, next point, this blade, and the attachment is weird. The fact that there's a hole through it is weird. The fact that, this bladed part here appears to be a separate piece of metal attached into the upper point, which means it will be bad for cutting, and also the point doesn't look very acute for thrusting. It's also heavy.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if you guys can see as what I see here, but very little, if any of it, actually appears to be sharp. It appears to just be pointy at the very tip.
I noticed that. I was wondering about that.
There's sharpening on the belly of it and nowhere else. There's also this massive metal backstrap here, which again adds weight, which on a spear is bad. Now, there's
also again, am I wrong about the handle? Like, look at where the handle is. Am I wrong about am I wrong about that being dumb? I don't know. I'm not like an expert in spears, but like, is there a reason why it's down there?
Actually, there is there's definitely a reason to have a pommel down there. Having a pommel, unlike having a curvature, adds some counterweight, which can be good which can actually be good. Having the grip down there, you are actually going to be gripping the spear with your dominant hand basically there at the base, and then thrusting it out and using the lead hand largely to stabilize.
Oh.
Right, the lead hand is mostly for stabilizing it, so actually that is a reasonable place
I guess it is then. I stand corrected. However, the rest of it is still done.
Well, there's also all these chunks of metal on here which add weight and change.
Yeah.
You don't have a nice smooth profile to slide your hand along, which you want to be able to do. You want to be able to choke up and down on your spear very easily. On this, you can't. And also, it makes it heavy. Heavier means it has to be shorter. One of the main things that make a spear good is that it's long, right? In close, a spear this length honestly doesn't give you much more reach. No, my 37-inch bladed sword probably has an equal functional reach to that thing, which means it's just worse. This is a real American Indian weapon. What we're looking at here is a real American Indian weapon, which actually is what you would make with that piece of wood. You'd stick it. Everything about this weapon, by the way, is functional. You've got that kind of blade on a heavy club on a at a 90-degree angle is a horrifying weapon to get hit with because it has all the rotational power of a cut, but the concentrated force of a thrust, so it will puncture very, very almost effortlessly and then tear out. The wounds those inflict are horrifying. The back fin adds extra weight, which on a club is a good thing, up to a point. You can make it too heavy, but up to a point it's useful. And having a back fin like that also gives you stability, right? It creates drag in the air, which stabilizes your swing and aligns your edge. So every piece of that is functional. Those weapons should be they'd also be much better for taking down machines because they have much more kinetic force. Those should be everywhere in this world. You don't even need metal to make the fucking thing. You can make it with a rock. You don't even need a blade. I mean, just hitting someone with that will still crack their skull, but the blade will not only crack their skull, it will open up their entire, chest cavity.
Well, very
these things are
what's pertinent about this particular weapon is that later versions of it were manufactured from broken wooden gun stocks like that of a Winchester rifle. And that's why they got the name Gunstock War Club, because they essentially are the barrel of a rifle removed from the wooden part, and they put at the crease where the part where you rest your shoulder on the rifle rests, they would insert a flat piece of sharpened metal or a sharp rock of some sort. And this is a weapon that essentially is pertinent to the world of Horizon Zero Dawn in the sense that this is a weapon made from essentially rounded parts from a junkyard. So, hey, guess what? It's Pinterest.
Pinterest!
Okay, I'm gonna try and relaunch
this
Horizon.
Thing, it's too heavy. It's not properly sharp. The blade is also shaped asymmetrically, which means you're gonna get uneven resistance as you try to puncture your target, which means you're gonna get less penetration. And so you've got more resistance, right? You've got uneven resistance, so worse penetration, plus this unevenly shaped shaft, which means you won't be able to transmit force as efficiently because you're not going to be able to slide your hand along it to lance it out two-handed. And even if you're doing it a two-handed, that bump in the middle will still create lateral movement. It's just bad. It's bad in every conceivable way. This is not a weapon. If you gave me this and said defend yourself, there's a very real chance I'd throw it away and just have a go with my fists, because at least I know what I'm doing there. This thing is hot garbage.
It is. It is a pointy stick.
If you moved the blade 90 degrees and you made it
1 second, you guys. I'm gonna go wash my hands really quickly because I'm done eating, so I will be right back.
Alright, no problem. Let's look at some of the other bows, because... Actually, let's wait for Heron to get back and then look at some of the other bows, because they're also... The hunter bow is fine. If you gave me the hunter bow and said, shoot, okay, bow hunt with this, I'd be like, yeah, sure. I mean, not the best bow ever, right? It's not, say, for example, a Manchu composite, horn, wood, and sinew composite bow, which is basically the most efficient and powerful bow ever made by man, but it's a perfectly good bow. It would work. What's also weird about this game is apparently in this world, there are no straight pieces, there are straight pieces of wood. We see spears with straight hafts, but no one ever uses them. Or at least Aloy doesn't. You'd think she would.
Well, the other weird thing is that there are cultures seen in later parts of the game that also develop metal poles and other pieces of machinery that are very clearly involving making machined parts or forged parts that are beyond the level of skill that Aloy's culture appears to have. So clearly the knowledge exists somewhere in this fictitious world. Therefore, it stands to reason that even if Aloy's people didn't know how to make it themselves, they would trade for these weapons since they are physically close to these other people.
Alright, I'm back.
We have precedent for this. The Mongols, for a lot of history, right, pre-Genghis Khan, pre-Empire, they were for a long-ass time in the Stone Age. But they still traded for metal tools from China.
And Horizon just crashed again.
Effing chat, you guys. Effing chat.
Let's have a look at another bow.
Let's
look at some of the war bows because they're especially egregious.
Oh god.
Except, I'm trying to reload the game at the moment, and Chrome is taking away a lot of necessary resources for that. So,
I can really quickly do it on mine if we switch the screen. Hold up, because I can use my hands now. So let me pull it up on mine. What do you guys want?
Some of the bow. Just go to Horizon Wiki and weapons, and we'll look at some of the bows.
Okay. 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 I'm pulling it up now. Okay, let me stream this to our Discord. Alright. Can you guys see it?
Loading, got it.
Alright, let me just quickly, yeah, there we go.
I got it.
Yeah, you can see it, alright.
If you go to items and weapons,
okay, items and weapons, yeah, okay. Which one are we looking for now? Another bow? Another bow, okay, ranged weapons. Which bow again? War bow? Oh, bows. Okay, war bow. That's what we're looking at. Here we go. Here we are.
Look at large, and then effing shot for my sanity. What the fuck is this? So you've got metal limbs attached to a wooden base. And these huge... Are those leaf springs on it? I can't even tell, like...
They're not even. It looks like they're the legs of some dead robot.
Okay, then.
It looks like there's some kind of... Well, there has to be some springy portion, and the limbs are the springy... Like, the center of the bow shouldn't bend. The limbs bend. The center should be stable.
It looks like they attempted to make a composite of wood and robot legs to make what visually appears to resemble a recurved bow, but the way it's constructed, it wouldn't work. Because the actual...
I can't tell how this is...
The top and bottom limbs are actually 3 different parts.
There's too many joins here. There doesn't seem to be any spring mechanism either. Like, on a normal bow, there is a spring mechanism. You can't... It's the limbs. The limbs themselves act as essentially a spring, right? When you draw it back, they're storing energy, which is then released when you release the string. The string is not generally what's providing the power. It's the limbs of the bow. At least on traditional bows it is. On modern bows, I have no idea what the fuck they do.
Until very recently, there wouldn't have been a elastic string material that would have been available. Most cultures relied on something very strong, like anything from jute to animal sinew to flax in some parts of Europe.
Yeah.
Flax, animal gut, these are common materials. And like, just to give you an idea of how sophisticated weapons could be, even to a Stone Age culture, right? So, Cherokee arrows. This is an arrow, not a bow. But Cherokee bows were also, I mean, again, not a step bow, right? The step bow, using a composite of horn as the face, then wood as the core, then sinew as the backing of the body of the bow, so it has the maximum, like, weight, reduces the weight, is strong, it's springy. I don't know that the culture that invented it was Stone Age, but they could certainly be made by people who were living in the Stone Age.
Yeah, like it's pretty. I've seen like a decent amount of Cherokee bows. Yeah, it would definitely be possible.
A Cherokee bow is wood. It's just wood, but it's good wood. They're black or yellow locust typically. They're made like you take the tree, you chop it down so you've got one growth ring's worth of wood. You tiller it so it bends evenly. I mean, you have to age the wood. The string can be various things. The arrow tech is what's really interesting, because it's shaped mountain cane traditionally. Nowadays, a lot of bow makers use river cane. Historically, it was often mountain cane, particularly where I grew up. I am not Cherokee. My best friend growing up, or in high school anyway, was part Cherokee. He was Wolf Tribe, actually. Which means his ancestors would definitely have been using bows, because Wolf Tribe were the warriors. But they'd be using black locust, which is a very good wood for this. They would age it. They would seal it with bear grease. The arrows would be mountain cane that they'd then shape using heat, because the mountain cane is naturally a bit bent. You'd put on... They actually gave them ballistic spin by affixing turkey feathers so that they kind of, like, created drag that would spin the arrow to give it more accuracy. They would, on a war arrow, you'd have a quartzite, typically head. They didn't have flint in that area, so they would use quartzite. And when they'd attach it for a war arrow, they'd attach it with sinew, because sinew, when it's wet, expands and loosens. So once it's in you, you can't pull the arrow out. The head will stay in. You can either leave the head in to definitely fester. You can try to cut it out surgically, or if it's in a limb, you could try to push it through with the shaft. But if it's in your body, that would almost certainly kill you. So they knew how to make an effective arrow. And again, their bows were not as advanced as a step bow, but they were every bit as powerful and as advanced as the English longbow.
Okay.
And the English longbow was a good fucking weapon. And so is a Cherokee bow.
So, good news.
This thing is a monstrosity.
Is it back up?
I have the game running at the moment. I don't know how long it will stay so, but if
right.
Perrin, you don't mind cutting off.
All right, yeah, 1 second.
No problem.
Yeah. Okay.
The sharp shot bow, I think, is
Yeah,
the actual massive piece of crap. But we'll get to that later. Next time we have
second.
tech issues, which we
All
definitely
right,
will.
yeah. Let me cut out from my thing.
This
All
game
right.
actually has an unreasonable number of tech issues.
All right. All right. Stream it back. Condor, stream it back. All right. Let me click this.
Oh.
Did it crash again? Did it crash again?
No, it's still running on my end.
Okay. Okay.
Well, the stream's gone.
Let me try. Here, let me get Discord back. Maybe it went down.
Well, yeah. Well, it's looking at the thing. It's like, yeah, though. It's. Sorry for the.
Wow, Discord really does not want to share this game.
It's part of the experience.
Okay, now the game crashed.
Oh, But of course it did. Uh, it's a feature, not a bug. Um, it's just part of the experience, obviously. It's just like having the game crash this many times.
What fools we were for thinking that this game would actually work for us.
Obviously, like, because who wants a game that works when you could have a game that crashes constantly? Obviously, that the devs were secretly geniuses with that. Um, it's just like they make you think that it's going to be this real, it's like it crashes, but like I don't know, and that's not. I'm being completely sarcastic. Um, like, were they trying to port this to a toaster? I don't know. Like, what happened? Okay. I don't know how the
Karen, you
port
want
for
to
this
pull up
hasn't been
the...
fixed yet. Like, shouldn't it have been fixed?
Yeah, 6 months after the release of a big budget AAA game, yeah, it should be bug free at this point.
Not only that, but it's also causing issues with my video driver, which is to say I just had to restart my PC because it crashed my video system and I was unable to see or hear or do anything, so I had to hold the power button down.
Oh well.
It won't start the stream of Horizon on Discord because every time it has to like switch modes and capture video, it freaks out. I can't figure out why it's actually doing that, which is to say I don't have this trouble on other games. Go figure.
Oh my
Karen,
god.
you want to briefly pull up the wiki again so we can look at one more bow?
Yeah. 1 second.
We saved the worst bow for... Actually, saved the worst bow for last. We haven't gotten to the worst spear yet.
Oh god. Oh wait,
Yeah.
what? There's one that's worse than the
yeah.
pointy stick? Oh man, yeah, I have to
Oh, yes.
I have to pull this up.
It
Like,
gets...
if there is
it
one
gets
worse than the
worse.
pointy stick, I must see it. Like, I have to witness this abomination.
We'll get... we haven't gotten there in the game
We'll
yet. We
save
haven't
that
gotten to
for
most...
another.
Alright, yeah, let me
But
pull
let's
up
pull up...
this.
Let's pull up the sharp shot bow.
Oh, you're pulling it up. I was gonna share mine, but okay. Who's okay? I'll pull it up on mine, I guess. Okay, let's see. There we go. So yeah, this is you see this. Okay, the bow. Okay, let me turn it back towards straight. Yeah, there we go. Yeah. Okay, so let me find this special spear that you guys are talking about. I'm guessing it's a ranged weapon, probably.
Shot bow.
I'm guessing it's a ranged weapon.
No, first,
Oh,
start with the sharp shot bow.
okay. The sharp shot bow. There we go. Yeah. Okay. Here's a sharp shot bow.
So this is a weird... Actually, this isn't as bad as I thought. Okay, these tip bits are useless. Now, ears
For decoration.
on a recurved step bow have a function, which is that the string rests against them, and actually, there's another mechanical... I can pull up an article on that after in a little bit. The limbs of this appear to essentially function as you've got the metal parts that I guess function as the spring mechanism and then the wooden core. That would work, but those tips don't do anything. The string isn't even attached to the ends of them, it's attached inside them, so they serve no purpose, which means they add weight and do nothing. Adding weight to a bow is really bad for two reasons. One, you're holding it out from your body, which means that any little bit of weight is maximized, right, is multiplied over the length of your arm and applied to your shoulder. Also, adding weight to the limbs of a bow, that's more mass it needs to accelerate, which means less energy that it is imparting to your arrow, and that's bad.
I think I have the stream running now. You guys mind checking?
Sure.
No
Hold on a
problem.
second.
Switching to his
Hold
screen.
on a sec. Alright,
Okay,
hold on a
fucking
second.
finally, let's go. Heron, you can.
Yeah,
you can do
I'm
your thing, but
switching.
we'll-
I'm switching. Let's see.
Well,
Live watch. Okay.
Next time I'll try
Oh, okay.
this.
It's
If it
it's
doesn't
back up.
immediately
Okay,
work,
let
I'm
me.
going to-
Yeah, it's back up, you guys. We actually got it to work.
And next time I have this problem, I'm going to immediately restart my PC because apparently this game, being as buggy as it is, requires a restart of the PC to start playing it every time.
Oh god.
So here we are again. Last time we left off in this game, Rost, the dad figure, just sent me on a errand mission to retrieve Blaze from Strider, which are horse-like robots.
We also
Just
found
to
a
say-
person who is injured and asking that we find his daughter because she'd gone off to get a special spear from some scrappers.
Yep.
So and that's the thing that the Watchers can do. They blind you by doing that.
Oh. Well.
Oh, we also fight with this spear by swinging it like an effing baseball bat. Because that's how you use a spear.
I mean, it's not a spear. It's a pointy stick. We've established this.
Again, if they just turned the blade thing 90 degrees, it would still be terrible because all of these parts are bad. Literally all of them, except, well, the hand. Yeah, no, even the handle wouldn't be good for a two-handed axe either. It's got that weird thick part in the middle. It's just a bad piece of wood, and it's got too much metal strapped to it, and it's just awful.
So part of this game relies very heavily on stealth mechanics, which seems kind of silly at times, because obviously these robots have presumably some way of detecting infrared or something, but...
Yeah, no, they could almost certainly see your heat signature, or the person who designed them is dumb, but like...
Which is to say, yeah, the game designing team probably is dumb, that they don't actually understand how a robot would actually work if you wanted to build it to actually hurt something.
Yeah.
Let's also talk about the way Aloy was just holding the bow sideways. So,
we've also
reason why
decided this time that
bad-
Aloy is literally Superwoman because she's able to like swing this pointy stick and
Oh, did you just die?
Yes, I did, because that robot snuck up on me. And also, let me just make another comment, which I made last time and again. You had to hold down one trigger button to, aim the bow, and then you had to hold the other one down to draw and fire it. And the draw and fire button, if you don't hold down the aim button, swings a spear like that. So...
Yeah.
It's very confusing, and you mix up the two a lot. This is not a good system. Like, you should either have like a toggle between the two modes, or you should have it be that you focus on one and exclusively. Which is to say, I'm not in love with the spear anyway, based on its design and fairly low range.
The pointy stick.
Oh, and it doesn't scale very well. Like, it becomes functionally useless later in the game. Okay, so here, Aloy, standing, she's actually shooting with fairly good form.
Well, if you crouch and shoot, she does it... Uh-oh. I forgot about that. Oh, and the crouch is a toggle.
Sideways. Get clutch, Velocibot! I will say that as stupid as it is, the game does have a good way of making the combat feel exciting, which is nice of it.
I mean, it seems natural. I mean, from the standpoint of if these things actually existed, you'd probably end up fighting them in much the same way, assuming your weapons actually could cut through any of their parts.
Well, and also you wouldn't swing a spear or pointy stick like that, and also you wouldn't use the pointy stick, and also there would be better weapons. Like, there's every piece of technology. They might not have steam engines yet, because that requires a certain degree of consistent measurement that they might not have. They should have primitive guns.
They should.
Because they have
Oh, look, a world map.
volatile fuel and metal to make them out of. They should have guns by now. Although, to be fair, it did take almost 1,000 years between the invention of gunpowder and the invention of functional firearms of any kind. When you go gunpowder and then almost immediately grenades and fireworks, and then it takes a good 600 or so years-ish to invent the flame lance, and then another few hundred years to invent, like, primitive cannons and howitzers.
But they do say at some point in this game how long the world has been in the current state that it is. And I don't remember exactly what that is, but it seemed like a rather long time. And also in this particular world, they would have a huge leg up on the cultures of Earth's history, because in this world, this world has an ample supply of essentially metal junk parts and like finely crafted, refined steel metal type things or aluminum, and flammable fuel, something that the ancient world would only love to have.
Well, like, even if they didn't have guns yet, they might not have guns, they might not have steam engines, they would have plate armor, swords, and various types of other metal weapons. Because if you have good fuel and reliable material, you could make all of those.
You could. Like, especially the swords.
So, swords
in this case
should be everywhere. Lamellar, at least lamellar armor. Plate armor can be a bit inconvenient, but lamellar armor should. Can you bump the game audio down a tiny bit? Not the voices, but like, I mean, not when you're in combat, obviously, but it's actually a little bit loud.
What? Turn the game down? Yeah.
Oh, can I?
The game audio could be a tiny bit lower, particularly like the machine noises. The voice acting is at a good level. I think the other stuff could actually be a good bit lower.
Yeah.
Yeah, the sound effects volume doesn't, and music don't need to be this loud.
Yeah, the music. I was actually noticing the other day that the music in the main menu sounded rather Iranian in feel, which made me think a lot about Kyrgyzstan and the game's obvious trying to, at least that component of it, play into the popularity of Prince of Persia. But that's another thing for another day.
Okay, yeah, this is a good level, because I want to be able to hear the voice acting, but the game audio is less, like, the sound effects and music are less important. And I can still hear it as just kind of, like, background. We do want to hear the voice acting, because that's somewhat important.
I've been spotted by another strider or two, which is to say when one spots you, when that thing above their head turns red completely.
The fact that they're called striders and it's a horse robot.
Oh, that joke is never going away.
It's never gonna go away. Like, every time you say, like, a strider or like a strider's charging me, it's just like, I get this image in my head, and it's like...
I know exactly what you're thinking, or almost exactly what you're thinking. Is Aloy drawing that bow? Okay, that animation. Okay, I can forgive. Aloy is drawing that bow apparently with one arm as opposed to her back muscles, which is not how you draw a bow, but I can also forgive the game animators for, like, doing a shorthand that was easier for them to animate and most people wouldn't care about. So I can let that go. I personally don't like it, but I can forgive it because I recognize that game animation has some demands that, like, I wouldn't forgive it in a film, because in a film, there isn't that same obligation for it to feel good to do. Okay, the problem, by the way, with drawing a bow, like, sideways like that, again, you're drawing purely from your arm. You can't engage your back muscles.
Oh, and I'm also freezing time because Aloy has the ability to do that while I make arrows. I can do this even, I've seen it being done mid-battle because that makes perfect sense.
Obviously, like, gotta freeze time to make those arrows.
Oh, look, there's an actual real animal, not a robot. Piggy, want to have some bacon?
Oh.
Sorry, the stream froze on me momentarily. I have no idea what the fuck happened.
Is it still going?
Oh, it's still working. It just Discord decided to be an asshole. Sometimes it happens.
Okay,
as long as sentence though.
As long as it didn't drop out, which would concern me more.
Yeah. So the problem with drawing the bow sideways like that, you're only drawing it back to your chest, which is a really short draw. Right?
Oh, that is a real animal. Is it a pig or?
Yeah, it's a wild bacon.
Oh, okay, yeah. Well, boar meat is legitimately my favorite kind of meat, so.
Let's have some bacon then. Well, that sounds
yeah.
like we
yeah.
have ourselves a real barbecue.
Yep. I almost forgot there were real animals in this game. Oh, it makes sense that there would be. I just forgot.
You can also hunt wabbits.
I mean, it makes sense. It's wabbit season.
We're actually going to do a quest on that later, because it gets us some very interesting dialogue.
That's interesting.
Actually, some of the best dialogue in the game, honestly.
That makes perfect sense that it was able to run right at me sideways. All right.
Yeah, definitely. Like, 100%. It seems legit. Like.
Yeah, that would work in physics.
Yeah, like I was running to the side and it still managed, even though it ran past me, it still hurt me. Bit of a graphical issue there, for a game that's generally. Oh look, I lit a campfire. These are save points, by the way, for those who don't know.
They're totally
borrowed game mechanic. Yeah.
It's totally not a Dark Souls thing at all.
This game plays into a lot of tropes in other things, it seems like. Like, it obviously has... You'll see later, everyone, that there are obvious visual parallels to the Prince of Persia franchise. There are... the Striders, of course, are a reference probably to Homestuck.
They're definitely a... Dirk literally, or bro, actually his AI literally builds robot horses. There is no chance that that's not an accident. Like, bearing in mind that the Homestuck fandom is quietly taking over the world right now. We are, by the way. I also know, the Homestuck fandom currently is being dumb fucks and shooting themselves in the
And we're gonna get to that in another video. But yeah.
Trust me, we are. But eventually, those of us who are not bent on shooting ourselves in the dick are taking over the world.
Another recycled game mechanic here is the fact that in this game, rolling actually gets you places faster than running. Which is to say that a time-honored game mechanic of, like, here I am in sprint mode, but I guarantee you I actually get further and faster doing this repeated rolling action than I do in a full-out sprint.
Well, just, like, keep rolling. Just, like, roll repetitively. Just, like, do it. This is the most effective way to travel in this game.
Well, actually, if the robots could curl up into a ball and roll like that, like the Droidekas in Star Wars and among others, that would actually be a much more efficient way for literally anything to get around. If you can curl up into a ball and roll in a controlled manner, literally everything could move much faster over flat terrain.
It could.
But then could stand up and walk on legs when it needed to jump over rocks or climb up stairs or something. So let's see. I'm here in Noristan because I need to go and talk to Karst and trade something. I pink my fire arrows for a tripcaster. Oh boy, the tripcaster is a weapon, such as it is. In this game, it's not really a weapon, despite the fact that it's a spring-loaded, essentially a harpoon gun, which ironically would be a much better weapon for destroying and hunting robots than anything Aloy currently has. It uses mechanical springs, apparently, and harpoons them to the ground with a nice little steel wire. Oh, by the way, this game has lots of steel wire in it.
Well,
It's
actually,
like-
that's the rope caster. The trip caster launches tripwire, like
Oh,
deploys
that's right. Yes,
tripwire
I'm
traps.
sorry. The trip caster is
Which
even
makes-
more. It's another weapon that makes like a tripwire that's electrified, and it shocks them as they walk through it. If you put it
Makes
in there.
no sense at all, by the way. Like, that didn't need to be a weapon. It could have just been a mechanic that you had, just a utility that you had.
Or how
Um,
about like having one of the mechanics in the game be setting like snare traps, like one of the oldest traps humans have ever done. So here's the guy I need to talk to.
I wouldn't hate the buildings in this. Asymmetric shoulder armor that doesn't overlap.
Surprised you saw me the way you keep looking every other direction to make sure no one's watching. Careful there, you'll sprain your neck.
It's always a pain in the neck when you show up.
Aloy does have good dialogue though. So let's
Also,
see.
good voice acting. Shout out
Yeah.
to Ashley Birch. Also, since we're staring Aloy in the face, I'm going to point out
Last time I
her
witnessed
facial
it,
model.
Tripcaster available for trade. Still got it?
I do. But you need to bring me a scrapper lens. What can I say? Special weapons don't come cheap.
Oh, I can pay. Took down a scrapper not long ago. Stripped out the lens in perfect condition.
I'll be the judge of that. Show me.
Let's see. So he has a tripcaster for sale, and I can use this to buy it. Let's see. Can I use my mouse or let's see? I can select which slot it goes into. I'm not sure if everyone can still hear me or not, but
I can still hear you.
Also, now is as good a time as any to talk about the fact that you only have 4 weapon hotbar slots, but already 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
Oh.
Okay, actually, the cards won't. Okay, so 5 different types of weapon you could have. And there are more types of weapon in the game.
That's a
That
problem.
is not good. We'll also get into what the different weapons actually do, because
yeah. Like some things also, it's really weird in this game that there are certain types of ammo you can fire with slings and arrows that, like, one type of arrow won't fire a certain type of, or one type of bow won't fire a certain type of arrow, and there are multiple different types of arrows.
And it's not just a one type of arrow for each type of bow.
I want to make another trade.
I'll be here. Same as usual, bring me the parts you harvest.
Yeah.
And you hunt. And that other part. Be sure to take a close look at my inventory, though. Who knows? Maybe I've got something to give you an edge in the proving.
I guess that concludes our business.
All right. See you around.
I've got what I need. I'm to meet Ross at the North Gate.
So now I need to go meet up with my father figure, Rost. It's identified earlier on that he's an adoptive father.
Yeah.
Hey, look, bunnies.
Bunnies.
Be very,
You
very
can shoot
quiet.
them and eat them. They're delicious.
It's Wabbit season.
And there's
Be very, very quiet. I'm hunting wabbits.
Well, I mean, in this game, it's always Wabbit season.
It is.
It's also boar season.
Oh, yeah, boy.
Rabbit- This is an extraordinarily stupid and spazzy rabbit. that
It
just
is.
I'm
Why was
going
it
to
just
put it out of
hopping in
its
place like that? What? Did you see that?
I'm gonna put it out of its misery.
Yeah.
I can't pick up the arrow that I impaled it with, but
Which you'd think you could, considering that hunting arrows are almost invariably made to be retrieved. I mentioned Cherokee war arrows were made with heads that came off in the body. War arrows weren't. They were laced with some kind of plant fiber that doesn't come off like that.
Yeah.
you don't suppose that there's a reason why one would want to retrieve their arrows, since they are actually fairly difficult to make. That this game really glosses over that, but to be
Yeah, I mean,
fair, I'm
making
okay
a
with that as a
stone-
game mechanic, but
Yeah, making an arrow actually takes some work.
It does. I've tried to make arrows before, and it definitely does. Like, it takes a lot of
I mean,
work.
it's like making dumplings. You had to be also in the mindset to not. You obviously had to make more than one, and they take a lot of work.
You do.
You had
Yeah.
to make them
Gotta
all right
nap.
too.
You got to make the heads. You've got to shape the shafts properly. You've got to fletch it very, very carefully because that actually requires some precision. You can't just stick fletching on. However, it takes some real work.
Well, since you just reminded me, I needed to manufacture more arrows. Hey, look, more robots. I better throw a rock to turn them around.
For rocks.
The rocks make a noise that they go and investigate.
That looks like another strider.
It is.
It
And they're
just
running for the
froze
hills.
for a second. I was scared as fuck that it was gonna crash.
Me too.
Like,
Well, it didn't freeze on my end,
Hi.
thankfully.
Oh, hi, Oh, the way they attack is also stupid.
Watch her
They
use
leap
tail
on
whip.
you like a
It's super effective.
velociraptor, but they don't have claws, and we died.
Well, that's because it used tail whip and it was super effective. That's the other thing about this game is that it's far too focused on stealth mechanics, which doesn't really make sense in a lot of cases based on the way the game's combat mechanics work. Like, if you want it to be a stealth game, it needs to focus very heavily on things that involve stealth and sneaking around and not even being noticed by the robots. But the game encourages you to attack and harvest them for parts, so that doesn't really make sense. So it's very clearly not. Oh, look, a foxy.
a fox.
I got distracted.
Well, it's also cute, so like.
You can also hunt them for their pelts.
Oh yeah. But,
Yeah, the fur is used to make shit in this game.
I mean, it makes sense.
Come on, Davey, light my fire.
So the way that we actually draw the bow in stealth, can we show that briefly? Is there a patch of grass where we can crouch down and try and... Okay, so this way that she's drawing it, it's a really short draw. The shorter your draw length, the less work is done, so you have less power, right? You're drawing it back to your armpit instead of, say, for example, your back shoulder, which is where you ideally want on a long draw bow, like a Cherokee bow or a Mongol bow to do. And you're not engaging your back muscles. You're drawing it with just your arm strength. You actually draw a bow essentially by engaging the muscles in the back and shoulders to expand it. You don't draw it with your arms. That wouldn't work. You don't have the stability that way. So you've got a low stability, a short, low stability draw. So you're going to be firing a weak and shaky shot and probably missed. That's
yeah.
terrible. You would never, ever use a bow like that, ever. Ever. Like, there are times you actually would hold a gun slightly canted, particularly if you're using it in close and you want to keep it, like, tight to your body so that your opponent can't grab it or some shit. You would never hold a bow like that. There's just no motivation for it.
Just because I'm shunned doesn't mean I won't pass through.
Just because I'm shunned doesn't mean I won't pass through town. And
These are not, I have to say, bad buildings. Like, we should actually have metal skyscrapers by this point, because there's metal fucking everywhere. But these
Or
are
at
not
least-
bad buildings.
or at least, a combination
Yeah.
of wood and fort buildings and, large communal structures like that. Like, we are, at least,
But-
the Nora appear to be technologically early feudal age, like, type stuff. Which weirdly seems tribal, despite the fact that it's identified pretty early on that this, they are in very close physical proximity to much more technologically advanced cultures. I guess I have too many rocks.
Yeah, it's actually kind of weird, like, how little overlap there is with how little physical barrier exists.
Yeah.
But, like, these buildings aren't bad. I don't hate them. They look like something people would actually make. Unlike the Nora's clothes, which are so incredibly primitive that I have a hard time believing. Like, the armor in this game is all garbage. But the Nora particularly have it bad.
Well, the Nora
Yeah.
are like they're far too close to technologically advanced sedentary people to be as primitive as they are. Like, it's identified in a one-liner somewhere earlier in the game that the Nora like rejects the ways of not only of the old metal world, but also of other cultures like the Karja, who we'll meet later on in the game. I guess on principle, it's never really identified why the Nora like reject this, other than that they do. Oh look, that robot just died. Oh my god. I can't figure out why it just died. Couldn't possibly be. Oh look, here comes a watcher. Batter up.
Yeah.
Despite the fact that I wasn't facing it, it still managed to blind me. Weirdo game mechanic.
Yeah.
Batter up.
Guess that's a
Now.
thing.
Because that's how light moves. It moves around you. It bends in circles. Also,
it must be like the double slit experiment. It's a quantum
I don't
effect.
even know how the double slit experiment works.
I know. That was
It
supposed
doesn't
to.
do that shit. Also, these things leap at you, slashing with their legs as a velociraptor would, despite not actually having foot claws.
Yeah, they probably should have built them with foot claws.
It doesn't have arms or any kind of teeth or cutting parts on its mouth either, like some other robots we'll meet later in the game do.
I feel like they're just like, it's attacking you and it does damage because it's a robot, and then they didn't think it through.
That's all I'm saying. Also, these watchers should be not like stepping side by side like a bird. It should be hopping like a kangaroo.
Yeah, you said that, like, it should be.
I said that last
It should
time,
be
and I'll say it again
like
for
a
posterity.
kangaroo.
Kangaroos
And
are efficient when they hop, much more than walking or running. So it saves energy, and also the way that the machine's legs are designed in this case, they're kind of springy and skinny like that of a kangaroo. So it makes sense. Also, it would go with the visual strangeness aesthetic that the game's trying to go for, that a robot that hops like a kangaroo but still is attacking you would be much more bizarre than a robot that looks kind of like a little theropod dinosaur.
Also, kangaroos are known for kicking people and beating them up.
This is true.
Kangaroos are
kickbox.
actual units. Like, kangaroos will take on and fight much larger predators and like drown them. Like they'll lead them into a river and then drown them. Hey,
Yeah.
Foxy.
They
will go out and like kick and punch each other. They kickbox. There's a reason why basically every martial arts school in Australia has a picture of a kangaroo with boxing gloves in it.
And they
Tekken
also have
didn't just put that shit in as a joke.
Despite,
yeah, yeah, the kangaroos can.
Oh, the robot's way over there noticed that I killed one.
I think we're supposed to complete the quest of finding that girl who's looking for the spear with a bunch of scrappers.
That's right, there was a quest last time.
Oh yeah.
This game does have the built-in mechanic of, hey, I'm too tired, I don't want to do my chores, can you do them for me?
Yeah, literally everyone does this in this fucking game.
Well, not just this game. It's a common theme in these types of open world games, but it'd be nice if this game for once didn't actually do such a thing.
Yeah.
I want to see an open world game that really is more about just exploring and finding things and not everybody gives you chores.
Isn't that what Subnautica kind of is?
Kind of. The only problem with Subnautica is that Subnautica kind of has the opposite problem of often not really giving you any clue of what you're supposed to be doing.
Here's Rost. Now we get to hear his bad voice acting.
Explosions and shouts beyond the embrace. Is that the trouble you were talking about?
You will know soon enough. Until then, you wait for dark.
Wait for dark? I don't understand. Those explosions are outside the embrace. What can we do from here?
The lesson will be taught in due time, Aloy. Till then, we wait.
Oh yeah? Well, I have a tripcaster.
I saw cars take out that tripcaster I was talking about.
Wait, think what that outlaw trader charged for a weapon of that make?
It wasn't cheap, but the caster is worth it.
Perhaps. You'll know it's worth soon enough.
Still a while to go before dark. I guess I'll get some rest.
Good idea. There'll be no time for sleep tonight.
I would like to point out the useless octagonal pieces of metal that are wired together in such a way that anyone with a dagger could stick it between the plates of metal and kill him anyway. Also, they're only on one shoulder. I don't know why he's so worried about being stabbed in the shoulder or cut in that one shoulder.
It's a very
and nowhere
important
else.
shoulder tab. It's
And only
sentimental
one-
value.
His he's actually like Achilles. That's who he is. He's Achilles,
Oh wait,
and his shoulder is the part that isn't protected.
I think you're right. I mean,
Except we'll see that's not true later. But
Come on, baby, light my fire. Even though it's raining, this fire burns like a...
wait, what?
well,
I just noticed that it's still burning. It's raining.
depending on the type of wood, that might actually work. There are types
mean,
of wood that will burn in the rain.
I guess it's
Well,
If
true.
it's fat wood, it would.
I was just
if
thinking,
there's-
I started the fire while it's raining. Is actually what's more impressive.
Yeah, no, like
Yeah.
having the wood burn. Lots of wood will burn in the rain, depending on the wood and how heavy the rain is. Lighting it is harder.
Yeah.
See, I wrecked at the campfire. I guess I had to do this again. All right. And this triggers the cut. You can't do it to just any campfire. It has to be this one, apparently.
It has to be this specific campfire.
Fuck is with those bracers he's wearing? They're god awful pieces of garbage.
They
I
kind of
thought better
are.
bracers than that with like a hacksaw and bracing bit. Wait, those people have actual legit spears.
Oh,
They're straight shafts with symmetrically shaped heads. Those are actual spears.
they are.
Yeah, you're right.
Some boy-
They know how to make a spear. They have a pointy thing inserted into the end of a long, straight wooden stick.
They do.
Wow.
So much for tribal law.
I spoke to no one.
They have actual spears.
These
Why
are
can't we have actual spears?
threats unlike any you have ever faced.
Their carcass. What sort of beast was that?
The tribe calls it a sawtooth. It's something new.
Okay, so here's where we had to discuss
Years ago, they have killed many braves.
a potentially bad game mechanic, which is to say this is what's called a sawtooth. It's a cat, which with his name like that can only imply that it must be, in fact, a Smilodon, or at least kind of like one anyway. But the problem is, at a distance, at least in the PS4 version, visually it appears that these robots look the same as like 3 other different types of robot in the game. And that they all attack and do things differently. So
The
the fact
number of times we're going to die because we think that one of these robots is a different one is going to be incredible.
Cabin. What happened?
And very, very basic game design 101 shit.
Sort of a shade.
Never make 2 enemies that look
Oh,
identical.
I see.
Like, never make 2 enemy units that look the same but function completely differently. That is just bad game design, and there's no excuse for it.
it's a good thing
I'm
the
not a
other
game
Nora-
designer. I just watch extra credits. And I know this. You should never do that.
It's a good thing that the Nora Braves didn't loot the robots.
Oh,
I'll harvest the parts.
Left all this nice salvage for me. But seriously though, yes, the fact that these robots look the same from a distance and in the type of lighting that the game is very fond of, would make it a very difficult thing to do to see what it is. And of course, part of this game is that different robots have different weaknesses at any given time.
Oh, yeah, one thing I will say, I do actually much prefer the lighting in this version of the PC version. The PS4 version of the game's lighting was complete garbage.
Yeah, they toned down the specular lighting a huge amount in the PC version. Although, to be fair, I had the ability to adjust that, so it might be that I just...
Well,
And knowing
Also,
better, I
you
turned it
couldn't
down.
like you couldn't see shit in a lot of parts of the game in that game. It was really bad.
Yeah,
Here it comes.
I bet it was.
You're you're attacking
Somehow I
with
didn't
no
bat it out of
actual
the air, and it
weaponry.
still managed to hurt me. That makes sense.
Why are we the only ones out here tonight?
Weird game mechanic there too. It was in its attack animation, but I batted it out of the air with my spear bat thing, and that should have like knocked it out instead of allowing it to continue to attack me. Anyway, that's neither here nor there. It's a gripe I have with a lot of games that they make it. That's like an artificial challenge component that they don't want to be bothered to have it be like that, despite that also being a fairly easy robot.
I also, by the way, I know we're talking over a lot of the dialogue. Aloy's dialogue is good. Rost's voice acting is terrible. Later in the game, there will be dialogue that we'll probably shut up for because it's actually story relevant. None of this matters. Nothing. Rost literally never. Well, okay, there's one dialogue that is interesting, although not super important. But other than that, Rost really doesn't say anything of relevance.
Of course not, because he's super red. That's why he does it, because...
The problem with Rost is that also he's supposed to be implied by the game to be a loving father, and I guess he is, at least visually. But he always sounds, because of his voice acting, like he's really mad at you for no reason. I mean, maybe he's just supposed to be playing the part of cold and aloof.
Well, like most of the voice acting in this game is actually.
How many were there?
I've been working here to answer questions, and I brought you here to deal with that.
To deal with that? What, are you gonna, like, send me to die now, Dad? Look, it's a Smilodon bot.
Oh,
Huge. How do you defeat it?
That will be for you to decide. This hunt is yours to make, Aloy. Yours alone. When what happens, I will not intervene. You understand? You're on your own.
Why?
I was gonna say, that makes no sense. He should be helping me.
I understand giving people. I understand giving people challenges and like asking how do you solve the problem, but there's no shame in telling her how one would fight this machine, or at least giving her a hint as to how you'd figure out how you fight a new machine, what to look for, that kind of shit.
yeah, that's kind of something you would
Also-
tell a person.
Also, there's no lesson to be learned if she dies. Like, I won't intervene. No, why? Right? If it looks like she's gonna die, you step in and then you tell her what she could have done better.
Yeah.
Well, also,
You know who would know that? You know who would know that? Bro Strider would do that.
Yeah, I was about to say,
And
we talk about, like, if you want to talk about parents that just throw their kids into, like, deadly situations that, like, are not, like, this is a better example of that.
Yeah, no, like, Bro is perfectly willing to put his kid in dangerous I mean, Dave even says it. He wants him in the right kind of danger and the right amount of danger.
Not the wrong kind
Actually
of
not
danger.
unreasonable if you're training someone to survive, but this is... And I know that Aloy is like 20 or some shit, but also, that's still a kid, basically. I mean, I'm 30. I know I sound 16. I'm legit 30. And even then, if someone doesn't know how to do something, there's nothing wrong with telling, like, giving them some pointers.
Yeah.
so the other thing we identified in the previous installment of this is that Aloy has an augmented reality chip on her right ear that allows her to do this and, you know, track the patrol paths of robots as they come along. So I just
You can
put
also...
a snare electrical trap thing in the path of it, which, despite the setup and like, oh my god, it's gonna like destroy it and make it like really, really hurt.
Oh, there's a blaze canister on it that you can blow up. Also scan it, because there's a scan function with the focus that allows you to actually get data that tells you where its weak points are and what its elemental weaknesses are. I don't know how you do that. I also don't know how you're supposed to know that you can do that. Oh, look,
I
glowy
didn't
thing.
put the
Shoot the
trap
glowy
caster
thing.
in the right
Shooting a
place.
glowy thing is always a good idea.
Yeah.
Hey, robot, you want to walk into the electric trap for us?
Which is to say, I guess I didn't put it in the right place just by putting it in the right place.
Oh, okay then.
Also interesting, I get that the robot doesn't notice this electrical disturbance. Like, it doesn't have any sensors for detecting electrical disturbances in its path that might injure it. Like you might design into a robot if you weren't a fucking dumbass.
Yeah. I mean, that does sound like something you would design it for a robot if you were not a fucking dumbass.
So you kind of had to do this kind of thing with the trip caster.
How
And
exactly is any of this working? We don't know. It's bullshit magic. And
well,
frankly,
yeah, there are some weirdo game mechanics that rely on like, oh, it's a video game kind of thing. Got the
Yeah.
gaps. Because obviously that's a high voltage thing. It might have a capacitor in it or something to give it the kind of jolt of electricity it would need. The sparking, of course, was just a visual effect, but
which also raises the point that if they can create capacitors and electric traps, why the fuck are they living in the Stone Age? But
That's another
no,
good
don't
question.
think about that. This game was not designed for critical thought.
no, definitely not. Let's see.
Okay,
Will it
what
actually
does
set
the
off the
scan
trap this
function
time
do?
around? Hey, look, it actually did.
Oh damn. Huh.
Now we shoot it in the blaze canister with a fire arrow, because that's definitely what we would actually want to do.
Well,
You're using the wrong weapon. You need to
Yes,
switch
I
weapons.
am, because I didn't select the right one. The ammo selection mechanic in this is really, really, really dumb. Can I just mention that again?
The ammo selection and weapon selection is very, very dumb. The trap caster shouldn't even exist. Wait, it doesn't know where we are, despite the fact we've been shooting. God!
well.
What the fuck?
Oh god.
Robot, you are so fucking stupid. There are no words.
Hey, look, it
You're
knocked
also
down a
on
tree.
fire. You're like
Oh my
super
god.
on fire. Can we? How does the scan mechanic with the focus even work? I know it exists, and I know we should be using it, but
I
I don't know how
forgot.
to do it. We should probably want to figure that out. There should probably have been a visual cue telling us how to do that at some point. Nice tutorializing, game.
Yeah, this game has a long series of like not good tutorials.
Yeah.
Oh, and the
Bearing in mind that
aim versus swing the spear mechanic is really hurting me.
like scanning robots to find their weaknesses is a central mechanic that the game requires you to do to actually win long term.
And here I am again, firing the spear instead of the arrow, and I'm being killed for it because I keep swinging the spear when I should be doing this. Because you had to hold down two different buttons at the same time to aim and fire, which is annoying.
Hold on. Can we talk about the
This
really
thing is-
weird, unnatural way this thing tends to move? Like, it moves really awkwardly, actually.
It does. I was wondering what the fuck the deal was with that.
Sounding in a way that you think it really shouldn't. And I almost died. Like I'm actually legitimately should be dead.
I don't think the rest of it is weak to fire. I think we're largely wasting fire arrows by shooting fire arrows at it constantly. Do we have
Yeah.
normal arrows? Okay, then.
Oh, God.
And we died.
The whole robot was covered in flaming fuel. It was still running. I'm also
Yeah,
going to point out a
that-
serious problem with that physically.
Yeah, I was also wondering about that. Like, what the fuck the deal was with that?
Like, the A, if we blew up its fuel, it should be running out quickly.
Yeah.
B,
Like,
it should probably also be melting. Bits of it should be melting. Metal melts.
Or how about like
or at least warping.
whatever electrical brain it has, like should have like ceased to function several minutes before.
it probably should have.
In today's world, pretty much all machines are governed by thermal regulation in terms of like CPUs and stuff, in much the way computers are, because in fact they are just mobile computers. So a lot of times they rely on not getting too hot, which would make sense. You would think that a robot that gets too hot would just stop working, because usually this can cause irreversible damage.
Yeah.
So that really alone should have like slowly like stopped it from moving, and then just made it not dead but not able to fight in any way.
I mean, I can excuse the idea that maybe these robots are made with some more advanced CPU than we can figure out right now. That I can let go. What I can't let go is the heat of that fuel combusting should have weakened its metal parts and caused them to warp under stress.
And certainly made it not able to move, at least not as effectively.
Yeah.
I just made 20 arrows in less than a minute.
Also, is it supposed to be like a bear? Like, is that what it's supposed to be?
It's
No,
it's
supposed to be a Smilodon.
Okay.
We'll meet bear robots way the fuck later in the game. Like, in the DLC levels of later in the game.
Okay, then.
Ironically, you'd think that there'd be more of those, since a bear would actually be a good design for a robot. Because the walking motion of a bear is, like the kangaroo's hopping, is very efficient.
It is.
Look, nice, long, straight wood to make arrows out of.
Oh, of course.
Mm.
Oh,
Hello,
okay.
stupid Smilodon robot. What the fuck did your AI just get hung up on?
I don't know.
Use
Like it turned
AI
into-
freeze. Let's see if we can figure out how to scan this goddamn thing. Well, get
Ready or not.
fucked. Okay, and blow up its blaze canister. Its blaze canister.
Ow. Well, I guess I was a little too
Well,
close.
that blew up its blaze canister.
And now you run.
Oh, look, it's on fire again.
Oh, okay, yeah, it's functioning perfectly fine, just walking around on fire.
Despite the fact that a bomb literally went off underneath it.
Yeah,
Like,
it's fine though. This is fine. It's a this is fine dog, obviously. Like, that's what it is. This is fine.
Yeah, it's literally in the burning house on fire, and it's saying, "This is fine. I'm fine. I'm like not even like struggling to move here. I'm perfectly able to fight back." The
Yeah,
game has a lot of weirdnesses like this.
This is fine.
I mean, even if the fire alone weren't damaging it, the concussive force of that explosion should have damaged its hip joints.
Yeah. As
Yeah,
in, it also should have like melted off most of the plastic armor if it had any.
it
And
should
the metal
have.
part
That.
would see-
Yeah, like.
Apart from the fact that it was literally red hot, like months before.
If it was red hot and tried to move, it would warp. Like, it would bend its own limbs.
Possibly causing even more damage to itself. Like when whatever actuators it has, be they piezoelectric muscles or motors, would have like melted off or failed a long time ago. Any of the bearings would have seized. Like that would have been a catastrophic failure of any machine I can think of, even if we assume that there's some mystical energy source or other types of energy weapon attached to them.
Even
Yeah,
if the CPU can function under that heat, the metal will still, like, heat and deform.
Yeah, it's not even doing that.
The metal deforms when it's hot.
Ow. Somehow it managed to swipe the other way and get me.
Like, what is this thing made of? Valerian steel?
Apparently.
Dragon rocks.
Oh, hey, those leg joints must be weak to our normal arrows because we saw the thing light up like it's taking a critical hit.
Yeah.
Cool. So if we shoot it in the front of the leg with an arrow that hurts, that actually makes sense. Wow, game, you actually inserted a mechanic that made some sense.
Wow.
Good on ya.
Yeah, that slow clap right there.
Look, it had a spring.
Why did I bring you here?
Yeah, he's just like watching us die to that thing. It's like he's like, oh, it's okay. Like,
Her skills against a dangerous machine.
Follow.
Ross, stop being a jerk.
again, like, it's just like if you want to talk about guardians, just throw their kids into danger and like lethal danger. Here's one that's a great example.
Lesson is within the question, anyway. For years, you trained to win the proven, but only for yourself. As a brave, it will be your duty to fight for your tribe.
My tribe? You said I wouldn't need them.
But I never said the tribe wouldn't be you. The strength to stand alone, Aloy, is the strength to make a stand. To serve a purpose greater than yourself. That is the
This is-
lesson you must learn. And remember it. After the proving, and after I'm gone.
That's actually a good lesson if he hadn't said it in that
In
like
that role of
angry,
boring.
vituperative tone.
Yeah.
Yeah, no. If he had not come off as yelling at her, that I would actually say, yeah, that's actually a really good lesson to teach your kid. Like,
This will be your last day of being embraced as an outcast. Use the time to set your mind on the challenges before you. When it is time for you to go to Mother's Heart, I'll be waiting for you along the way.
I understand the final lesson, Rost.
Do you?
But if I'm going to stand for something, it will have to be something I believe in.
And I hope you find it anyway. I hope you do.
Me too.
Yeah.
I'll see you at Mother's Heart then.
You will.
Like the difference in the quality of the voice acting between Ashley Birch and whoever voiced Rost.
It's a pretty big difference.
Nom, 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 nom.
my father wasn't this much of a dick.
Yeah, well,
My
that's
father was a dick. But not like this.
like it actually is jarring at some points based like he's supposed to be proud and you're supposed to get that general sense, but again, he's acting like he's mad at you. At least that's what it sounds like to me.
Constantly. Like, he just sat... That was actually a really good lesson, is, look, being strong, like, you've worked this hard to come this far, but at some point you need to find something bigger than yourself. That's not a bad... Right, serving...
Yeah.
Like, specifically trying to help other people with your strength, that's a good lesson.
Yeah.
It is a good
You don't have to
lesson.
yell it.
Well, he didn't really
So
even
Ross-
yell it. He was just like disinterested.
No, he just sounds like he's yelling, like scolding her constantly.
yeah,
though
scolding.
It's really
Yeah.
Like he's scathing tone. Yeah, he really doesn't sound like he's proud of you at all. Like he's upset with you for not having killed it faster or something. Eh.
Oh, that weird way she holds the bow before she draws it and fires it is also bad. You don't.
Yeah, get on it. It missed.
All right, you stupid stalker! You jump in such a way that you land on your own side and don't even have anything to attack.
I almost feel like
machine.
that's supposed to be comic relief.
Huh. Nice.
Like it's like the fact that it lands and tumbles is almost supposed to be funny, I think.
Yeah, by the way, not all the voice acting in this game is bad. Most of it is actually very, very good. It's just Ross. Literally just him.
It's just him. Yeah.
Actually, again, that's another jarring thing about him is that, oh, look, there's a bacon.
Oh, yeah.
And look, it ran towards the fire to cook itself. There's someone who I was talking to at one point, and they accidentally referred to a wild boar as a bacon, like it's an animal called a bacon.
It's a bacon.
Yeah, that's what I've been
We
calling
never
it.
actually did manage to do some of the early side quests with, like, the,
Yeah, you're right.
the old woman we're supposed to hunt rabbits for, or the,
Do you want me to go do that?
finding the spear for that lady. Actually, yes, because the finding the spear shows some interesting, like, weird ecology going on, and the rabbit hunting quest actually gets to some really good dialogue.
Yes.
Like, there are some really good dialogue moments in this game that I actually want to show. Also, just criticizing what's bad is less meaningful if we don't highlight what was done well and what could have been done better.
Yeah.
Because I don't believe in just being negative. This is also why we're not going to play games that are just fucking stupid and pointless, because
Like, what's a game that would be stupid and pointless? Like...
Hey, a turkey.
Oh.
That's what you do with turkeys. They're very, we could be making fletching with those. Turkey feathers make great arrow fletching.
They do.
It should have actually been a resource other than fatty meat.
Like, what would an example of a game that, like, would be pointless? Well, what would be an example of that? Like Fallout 76 or...
Well, Kingdom Hearts.
From a story perspective, there is just no purpose in analyzing that because it's so dumb.
How do you even analyze that?
Rewriting it from scratch, there's really no point. Mechanically, it's not awful, but like...
But that's like a relatively small component of a in this case, franchise of games that have all been tragically plagued by nothing but bad writing and probably, if nothing else, maybe Disney's constant intervention the way that they do in their own movies. So for those of us who are, though, in the audience who are watching, I'm hunting wabbits because it's a thing that can actually get a better game mechanic going.
The wabbits. Also, Fallout 76 would be pointless because it's just, like, everyone's kind of beating it to the ground. Also, it's just, like, everyone knows why it's bad by now. It's like, I don't know.
Oh, another game that would be pointless. That old Superman Nintendo game.
Superman 64?
Yes. I'm old enough to have played that growing up.
Oh, that's not fair. Owl actually beat that game.
Unfortunately, I'm not familiar with that game. I'm guessing based
Owl
on
beat that game.
Really
how? What?
Like, Owl beat that game. Owl has beaten Superman 64.
You must be Alana. Sounds like she's in trouble.
Help! I'm being hunted by kangaroos, terrified dinosaurs that tumble when they miss.
But also, like, Connor, you've never heard of Superman 64.
Well, specifically, I haven't heard of the problems that you're talking about with it.
Oh, God.
Probably a good thing.
It's irredeemably bad. Okay, first of all, 90% of the game... Okay, you know those levels in Spyro where you have to do precision flying challenges? Imagine making a whole game that's 90% that, and not even visually interesting, it's just flying through rings. Also, the controls are incredibly wonky and hard to manage. Also, there's a throw object mechanic, which is impossible to aim, and I really do mean that.
those machines.
You're welcome.
Oh,
That was me. Good deed for the day.
yeah.
Let's ask
Can I
her
talk
what
to you
she.
for a minute?
Does she can do
Can she?
Yeah. Okay, we can talk to you.
Thank you. I thought those watchers were going to tear me apart. Your father sent me after you. It's time to go home. I figured. But I can't go back until I get my mother's spear from that scrapper. That spear must mean a lot to you. My mother made it not long before she died. I can't believe my father lost it. He didn't mean to. Scrappers are dangerous. I know. I just can't stand the idea that it might be gone forever. I'll look for your spear. You will? Oh, thank you. Go find your father. His leg gave out while he was searching for you. Oh no. Okay, I'll go to him right away. Thanks again.
Hey, look, her clothes are more symmetrical than most.
Yeah?
Yeah, that's actually not. So's her face paint. Also, I wonder if her spear is better than ours. I believe beating this quest unlocks the ability to put, like. There's something that this quest, I think, does for us. I don't remember, but I think we level up it starts our spear leveling with us. And there's another quest where we hunt rabbits for an old woman where we actually get some really good dialogue out of it, which we may have missed. And if we missed it, oops.
Oh,
We really didn't mean to.
I don't think we missed it. You can still get to it as long as you do it before the proving, I believe.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, because we should do that. And,
Are you out there? Out where?
random yelling person who is irritating and has bullshit that we need to do for them, probably. I don't know.
Yeah.
You don't need to talk to
I
Ross.
hate this element of open world. I want an open world game that has like a story and some clear direction, but then doesn't put in a million NPCs asking us to do grindy fetch
you hear me?
quests. The fuck is ROM? I mean,
No,
I know
yeah,
who. I mean, ROM is the vacuous spider in Bloodborne, but I don't know who the fuck ROM is in this game.
Well, yeah.
Brom, please! It's Alara!
Uh-oh. Hey, look,
Oh, that's a
that
scrapper.
robot had an energy weapon on it.
Yup, that is clearly Scrapper, because they're the ones with the energy weapon. How the fuck do we scan these things?
Uh-oh.
Oh, damn.
I had to hold this thing. Uh-oh. Wow, that snuck up on me.
Are you here, Brom? Are you after?
Wow, there's a whole bunch of them. That wasn't,
Oh, damn.
expected. I didn't realize there was a whole group of them. I just thought there was that one scrapper hiding out. It's a good thing I saved after I talked to her. What's her name?
Yeah?
Also, if what's her name would stop yelling for me, which is to say it wasn't yelling for me, she was yelling for someone else.
Oh, this is a completely different person who's doing the yelling, but we do have to kill those Scrappers.
Yeah. Let's see, it was this way.
Yeah.
I think I need to make more ammo because I ran out.
We should try and figure out how the scan robot mechanic works, because it's actually kind of important so that we know what the weak points on a machine are.
Hmm.
And, like,
Yeah.
what's weak to what. So, we should want to figure that out. Watcher, what? Okay.
Highlight, and then you can have that to highlight its patrol route.
Brom, can you hear me?
Yeah, keep yelling and call the robot's attention.
Well, that tells us its path, but how do we actually scan it to get, like, its weaknesses and whatnot? Because I know that there is a database that we can use to, like, do that. I know that that's a mechanic of this game.
Brom, please! It's Alara!
Lady, shut the fuck up.
Oh, my God.
Well, they're still surprised.
So let's see. I can do that, but
Okay, well, there's glowy bits on it. Shooting the glowy bits on a robot is almost always a good idea. I don't remember what they are weak to or what they do. There is some functionality that lets us figure that out. We should actually, we really do need to find that because it's going to become so unpleasant to try and fight these things if we don't know that. Die, stupid hyena bot.
There's another
Ow.
Keep
one.
yelling while those dangerous ranged attacking machines around, why don't you?
Uh-oh. I threw a rock at it because it was the wrong button.
Oh,
Because,
well.
do some more.
Okay then.
And also, I'm not going to worry about figuring out it. That machine scanning ability is useful, but not particularly. Because it turns out in this game, despite having a lot of sophisticated ways to do more damage to robots, it isn't critical that you actually use them. The game has a overemphasis in its dialogue on that ability, but it turns out most of the time that isn't actually that useful because they kind of make themselves readily apparent with glowing weapon things, what things are useful against it or what you can actually what. No, I'm not. Shut
Well,
up.
knowing which parts to hit is helpful, but knowing how to get like critical hits using the elemental weakness is what you actually want the scan for.
Well, I only have 2 types of weapon anyway, so it's not at this point it would make a big difference.
No, we're going to want to figure it out eventually, though, because for some of the bigger, heftier robots, that actually becomes much more important.
Me?
What?
Ow. Out cold.
Oh, that's good.
Uh-oh, here comes the Watcher. And the other Scrappers.
You going to do that?
Wait, Owl was right here for you. Is it true that you beat Superman 64?
Yeah, a long time ago.
See, I told you guys. I told you.
Hi, by the way.
How, and also why?
Okay, so I rented it when it came out, not knowing it sucked. And I just sort of like thought at some point this is going to get better, and then it ended.
Uh,
Then I never played it again.
I wonder why.
Out of the way. Huh.
Brom! It's your sister, Alara!
There's worse games, to be fair.
There are.
Like Kingdom Hearts.
Well, it depends on which one. Birth by Sleep is pretty solid because you get to beat up Peter Pan. Like, although the treasure chest full of light.
A treasure chest full of light, you say? How did you manage to gather all that light into a treasure chest so conveniently?
Like, it's still entertaining though. Like, Birth by Sleep was legitimately entertaining.
365 over 2 days had a really good story. The gameplay kind of sucked. The story was good.
The gameplay sucked until you unlocked the other missions and you could beat people up with a banana and various other objects like that. And then it sucked, but in a fun way.
Okay,
Well,
fair.
Like, that's kind of what happened.
I had to hear that woman yell one more time.
Oh god, yeah, that's getting to like heavy red book levels of yelling.
Also, she's calling attention to the robots.
Oh my god. Like, that's legitimately annoying.
I'm hunting rabbits.
Like, that's legitimately an annoying thing.
Okay, by the way, here we're only doing people's chores right now. Hereafter, we're going to feel very free to ignore the fuck out of everybody in this game, despite what Ross said, because they are in fact video game NPCs that do not have real lives, and also the quests they give us are annoying. Oh, and they do this, and the game doesn't allow you to murder them, which is unfortunate, because frankly, as much as they're yelling, I really, really want to.
Oh, there's a robot after me. A wascally robot. So the trick is with these things, it's the camera that gets blinded by that light, not the.
Not too much already.
Oh, I think I've got enough rabbit meat, so.
It's your sister, Alara!
There she is up there. I wish I could shoot her.
Shut up.
Well,
Problem is just, and she tumbles down off the.
I mean, at a certain point, like, in real life, I wouldn't shoot someone who was yelling for their sibling, but in this game, I would, because she's just annoying, and I don't even think she's story relevant.
I'll say she's a side quest. I happen to know that. A turkey. Want to have a turkey shoot? It's just Thanksgiving. Well, I think my resource satchel is full, and I need to figure out how to use that. Let's see. Here we go. Inventory.
Oh, yeah, we can also craft bigger satchels with the right parts.
Some of which don't make much sense.
Maybe this tells us how to actually scan things. Where's the scan mechanic? Because I know I'm harping on that, but like some of the later machine... Oh, that's how we... I mean, those are... So, mechanic... Or yeah, machines...
oh, yeah.
But it doesn't tell us how we scan the damn things.
Ugh.
Wait, is that a mechanic we have to unlock by leveling up? I bet it is.
I bet it is too.
Yeah, I think later.
Oh, fucking A. I hate that.
There's a lot of in this game that like has to be leveled up, and mostly to make the game more like a game. Like it's like they had a good story, but then tacked a game onto it somehow.
Well, they had a good background story. Most of the actual story of this game is...
I mean, it's okay. I don't dislike it the way I dislike some other games. Hey, Ross. You know what though? I'm gonna wait because I need to go talk to the lady who wanted the rabbits.
Yeah. We gotta do that rabbit quest.
She's not up there. I think that's where I was heading. Where is she? Not that way. Shoot it up down there. Merchant, Mother's Cradle. This is all Norastan. And all of this is so I'm not really sure where I'm supposed to be going. New quest. That must have been. Can you help me?
How?
I can't find my sister. Or whatever it was.
Yeah.
So again, maybe I need to talk. I know that you don't actually. You basically can't miss the thing. I think you just need to talk to him now.
So, Slash, you ready?
Here we go with not...
I see. I'll wait here then.
Yeah, this is how we wander around and find other side.
Yeah, that's how you do the proving, and I think we don't want to do that yet because there's some good dialogue, and Osprey's right to point that out, and I'm trying very hard not to miss that since it's important. But I can't.
Yeah, no, it's actually, and it's an important counterpoint to some of the dialogue we get later in the game, which we'll talk about it when we unlock it. But it is actually good. We also do at some point want to find that lady's... Like, we saved the girl, we didn't get the spear back from the scrappers. There's some place we end up doing that. I don't even remember where.
Yeah,
But
you
it
don't
does
get
give us our first
scrappers for
spear
some reason.
upgrade.
I guess
You'd think she'd have told us where she was going. That would have been nice.
No,
It
she's going to
would've
go
been.
back to find her father.
Well, she could have told us where the spear had gotten off to, so we could find it.
Well, it's
for
at a
her.
scrapper
That might
ticket.
have- Yeah.
Not
Yeah.
very helpful.
Oh,
But,
by the
like,
way, we have
we
5
also-
minutes
there
left.
is-
Just like to tell you guys.
That's okay. If I can get to the place where we're supposed to talk to her,
Also,
yeah,
are you guys cool with doing another raid after when we end?
sure.
Okay.
Yes.
She's up on top of that because I remember we used that zip line to go back
Oh
down.
yeah, we need to get up. We should just get up to her, and then we can get that dialogue. Also, if we go over it by like 5 minutes, that's not the end of the world.
Let's see, I got to figure out how to climb up there.
The nice thing about this game is they will kind of color code the direction you're supposed to. Yeah, it must be like this. Because they do tend to
Yeah.
kind of color code, yup, and yellow means climbable, which is definitely not something, a color coding choice they took from, say, the Far Cry series.
Don't look
I
down,
don't hate
whatever
them
you
for
do.
that, like... Having a certain degree of mechanical overlap between games so the mechanics are intuitive without needing too much tutorializing isn't necessarily a terrible decision. It's lazy, but also, like, it works.
I was going to
so
say,
I'll accept it.
I'm not minding this since it actually allowed me to figure out how I'm climbing up. And it also, they use the color coding like as if the people themselves painted it. That way it makes it look like, hey, this is stairs. This is how we get it to our house.
Yeah.
Kind of thing.
It makes
So-
sense.
Which is X, I guess. Must be this one. No. There we go. I pressed X before and it made me almost fall off the edge. Let's see. I guess you got to hold it down. Okay, that's how you do it.
Now, yeah, sometimes the game is a little bit wonky in its directional climbing controls. This is a function of putting in too many mechanics and therefore not, like, none of them are amazingly polished, and some of them are honestly kind of just key.
Good for road raiding.
Okay, did we manage to go the wrong way? We may have.
No, we're home. I thought she was here.
Well,
Oh.
home is not where we're going.
Well,
Oh,
Up
it's not?
that mountain is where we're going. Home is not where we want to be.
Oh, okay. Well, if there's a fire I can light, I'll save us here, and then next time we can pick up doing that. Oh, there's a fire I can light.
alright, yeah.
This was much. It is, in fact, 3 minutes till, and I'm not going to be able to make it there in that time. Although, is there a fast travel mechanic? I thought there was.
There definitely is.
So, the mountain place was where Rost was.
Well, like, she's up that cliff we were climbing before in a different direction. I remember she's, like, sitting alone on some kind of cliff or some crap.
Yeah, she
What's
was.
the story?
And that's what I remember, but, weirdly, it's...
Hmm.
Do we have a quest list somewhere? Did we somehow not pick up the Find Rabbits
I need a
quest?
travel
I know
pack
that quest
to fast
exists,
travel, which I don't have a travel pack yet. I guess it's an item I acquire later in the game.
but-
For those of everyone waiting with bated breath to know what we're actually trying to do, there is a... I did a slide on the rocks and she said, oh, it's great. We're trying to find, I guess it's kind of like a grandmother figure to Aloy, even though it's not really her grandmother, and Rosterly isn't her dad.
And by grandmother, we mean, like, the grandmother who has long since kind of gone out of her head, but you kind of look out for her anyway because you don't feel like leaving her on a mountain, I guess?
Yeah, well, the the lady also is bound by the traditions of the Nora people to not talk to the outcasts still, so she ignores Aloy, but they have a good dialogue between them if you bring her rabbit meat Ross asks you to gather it for her.
Well, and then there's actually a really good dialogue with Ross about it afterwards that I actually really want to see because it's one of the better dialogues in this game, and it kind of gives us a glimpse at what could have been if they'd put a little bit more effort into some things and not fallen into some of the dumbass traps that they did. And that's also part of what we're here to do is not just trash talk the game, but also talk about what it could have been. Because if we didn't look at this and go, there was potential here, we wouldn't be playing this.
Yeah, it wouldn't be worth any constructive criticism since there wouldn't be anything to construct upon. There would just be, well, foolishness. And it's the case with some other games that we've already mentioned. But
yeah. Right,
I mainly believe in, I think if you're going to criticize something, it should be constructive, and I guess it's 9, so we'll call it here. We'll start off by, wrapping up these 2 side quests, and then if we have time, we'll get to the proving.
Okay,
also, realistically, we would have achieved more if we hadn't spent 30 minutes trying to get the game to run.
True. Also, does anyone have any ideas about, who you might want us to raid? Preferably someone from the server that was mentioned earlier, but, if anyone has any ideas, feel free to put the big chat, for who you'd like us to raid. If not, I have an idea of someone that would be good. So, yeah, I'll give people, a minute to do that. Also, again, please check out our Ko-fi and our YouTube. And please check out our stream tomorrow because we're going to be finishing up Befriend Us probably. And it's going to be the last Homestuck content we do for a while until we get... Not Befriend Us. Is it Befriend Us? What was it?
It is. I may not actually be available tomorrow. You kind of maybe wanted to ask me before saying we're finishing.
Sorry. I guess that has yet to be determined. But please check our Twitter for more updates on that because we will update you when we are going to do it.
We'll do that. We're gonna finish Befriend Us. It may or may not be tomorrow.
Yeah, we'll keep you updated on Twitter. Please check our Twitter for more updates about that. But yeah. Alright, I guess without further ado, are you guys ready to do a raid?
Sure.
Alright, I know who I want to raid. I know exactly who I want to raid. Okay. Alright. Alright, let's do it.
Okay.
We're doing it, we're raiding.
Okay. I still don't intrinsically know how this works.
I'm doing it.
Okay.
Yeah, we're currently raiding right now.
Okay. Don't know what that means or how that works.
It's just it means that our viewers can jump to another person's stream from ours. It's just a handy way to redirect people to other streamers. It's a nice thing to do.
Okay.
You might say it increases your karma in game.
Yeah, it's just a nice it's a nice thing to do. It's courteous to raid every once in a while. If you have other streamer friends or allies or just people that you like watching, it's just good. Raiding is it's good. Alright, I guess we can end ours, because I think it'll keep going whether we're doing it or not. So, good night, everybody. This is Team Demon Kitty out.